Hey, wonderful. Come on into the room, goddesses. I am seeing, okay, so our first three goddesses who are here, who we'll definitely be talking to today, who have their cameras on, are Goddess Deb, Goddess Nikki, and Goddess Marnie. Goddess Deb, Goddess Nikki, and Goddess Marnie. So if I forget that, please remind me. And I am loving Goddess Nikki. The color in your hair is so vibrant and is just giving me life right now. So welcome, 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 goddesses, to our sacred circle. I am outdoors today, so I don't have a candle with me, but if you do, I didn't ask you to bring one, but if you did bring one, please bring it forward now. We'll give a moment to gather our candles. So happy to see all of your bright, shiny, beautiful faces. Give a moment for that. And everyone who has your camera off, it would benefit you to show up more brightly by having your camera on, unless you're at school or at work. Okay, so cameras on, people. Okay, so let's bring our candles forward. And as we light our candles, we let in the light that already is. We also welcome in the fullness and totalities of our being, from lightness to darkness, all of it. We come with self love, self acceptance, and great compassion. Please light your candles and allow the circle energy to be open. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Okay, good. So I don't know if how many of you were at last night's late night circle. We had a very powerful money activation, but for all of my inner bloom folks, I will put that in your portal so that you can find it. And for everybody else, it's going to be posted on my YouTube channel, and you'll be able to find it there. If we are just meeting for the first time, hello, my name is Abiola Abrams. I'm so glad that you are here. I am the author of this manifesting manual, From Imagination to Reality, Secret Manifestation Lessons, and the Law of Assumption, from Abdullah Master Alchemist, which you can find in audiobook form, in this form, wherever you buy books, Amazon, etc. And my latest deck that we're going to begin with today is The Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle. Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle. And so last week we did a bit of a group coaching that was really powerful, because if you weren't here, we tapped in and spoke to a beautiful woman, a goddess who was elevating into her crone energy and reinforced her power around that. And then just the beauty of the universe. We also spoke with a younger queen that was stepping toward her Saturn return. And it was just this really beautiful, beautiful energy. So let's just play and see where the cycle takes us today. I want you to begin by, if you can, just let us know in the chat where you are hailing from. Where are you from? Where are you located at the moment? Because this is about community. We are all in this together. We are all in this together. Let folks know where you are. Okay, yay. We got Canada. Canada is representing in a big way. Let's other folks in the door. Come on in and turn your cameras on, please. We're typing into the comments where we're from. I see Jersey. I see Washington State. Okay, all right, good. Good. Turn your cameras on. And I'm going to begin with, let's begin with a question and a reading. So, a question, I put together some questions for us to guide our circle today. The first question is, what is a belief or a story that you've been holding on to about yourself that no longer serves you? What is a story or belief that you have been holding on to about you that no longer serves you? I'll give you some examples of what this could look like or what it has looked like in different points in my life. So at one point, I had a story about my body. I had a story about my body that, I was big boned and I could only weigh, what for my personal body was not a healthy weight, but that was just what it is. And that's just what the capacity of my body was. And that's what my body could do. That was a story that I had about myself. At other times, I had stories about money, that I am a creative person. I'm an artist. I'm a spiritual teacher, a spiritual person. So I could only allow in or make a certain amount of money. And it was okay because it was a trade off, because I was doing what I love. So it was a trade off because I could only make so much money. So these are stories that I had about myself that didn't serve me in any way, shape, or form. So, what are some stories that you have about yourself? So, think about that and then type it in the comments. And I'm going to pull a card for us and just find some where we're going, some guidance, see what the ancestors and the guides are thinking for today's sacred circle as we're in all of this eclipse energy that is still very much around all of us. Okay. All right. Very interesting. Okay. So I'm going to pull a clarification card. Very interestingly enough, this card came up just last night. I had a late night circle, and this card came up last night. The energy of the patriarch, which is the energy of being unapologetic, being unapologetic. But here's a very interesting thing. This is a goddess circle. This is a sister circle. This is a community of women. And the other ancestor who came up is also a masculine energy ancestor of inspired action. And so, although these are two very positive messages that we take for our intention for our circle, being unapologetic and taking inspired action for the things that are calling us forward, this also very much means that all of us here, although the name of the circle is Divine Feminine Mastery, are still very heavily walking in our masculine energy, very heavily walking in the masculine, which has nothing to do with how we look or how we present on the outside, but everything to do with our energetics. Our energetics are still off and leaning into the masculine. And so this circle, just so that you know, next week I'm traveling to speak at a Hay House event in South Carolina. And then when we come back, I'm going to make a new schedule. It will most likely be the same time weekly on Fridays because I'm loving the energy of this. But this is something that we need to pay attention to. Yes, being unapologetic is absolutely where we want to be. Type into the comments unapologetic. Unapologetic. That's very much what we want to be. Yes, taking inspired action is very much in alignment with what we want, where we want to go. However, we don't want to be out of harmony with ourselves. We don't want to be out of harmony with the divine feminine. So this is guidance for us to pay attention to. Guidance for us to pay attention to. Okay, so the first three goddesses I saw today, Goddess Fatima, were you one of that first trio? No, it was, I remember Goddess Nikki, Goddess Marnie, and there was someone else who I saw first. Well, Goddess Nikki, let's talk to you. Greetings, Goddess.
Hello.
Hello. So, how did you answer our first question that we presented for today's circle? What is a belief or story that you have been holding on to about yourself that no longer serves you?
I mean, there's a few, but I believe probably one of the main things is that I will never truly experience true happiness, or that life is not happiness, I guess I should say. Life is hard, and it's just that's what it is. It was just kind of so I mean, that's one of the I would say that's really general, but it's kind of incorporates a lot of different things.
Yes. And so how does this, what does it look like on a daily basis? How does this belief show up in your life?
Well, I mean, I've been through like a period where, I mean, rough period of, I mean, with of good reason to believe that way. I mean, there's a lot of things. I lost a lot of things. My whole life just kind of, I don't know. It's just been, it was like really rough.
Let's
And
take a
I
deep
lost
breath.
everything. I lost myself in it felt like, at least, and in that I'm still like working my way up, but I think it was kind of just a time. But now it's time to stop and just really like focus inwards, basically, which
Mhm.
I am very grateful that I'm able to do at the moment. Which is a couple years ago where my life was, I wouldn't be able to. So
Yes, yes.
yeah, and just knowing like it's not anything, I mean, I'm appreciating every day, and but remembering also like my capabilities. I've had the ups and the downs, I've done amazing things, and it was always like back and forth, but I'm just kind of focusing and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, I'm going to get there. Like, now I am confident in that, whereas I never truly believed that was possible, I guess.
Okay, okay. It's like the window is open and there's sunlight that's coming in. Yes,
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what it looks like per
yes.
se, but I have a lot of things coming up, and positive just energy, like, and I'm moving forward, which is the main thing, I think. So
It is the main thing, and that's beautiful energy to be in. So let's paint a picture then. Let's go a little bit deeper with that. What would your life look like without that belief or story about yourself, about what is possible for you? What would your life look like without that?
um well, that was another belief. I don't know if that count as a story, but like doubting myself always. I mean, it's like it's always in the back of my mind, like doubting like the positive outcomes, let's say, and what it would look like, I guess, would just be a lot less limitations, for sure, and it would be a lot more freedom to do things, to be things, to, well, I don't want to say be things. I guess I've always really been kind of myself in that way, but I think it would be a lot less like, I mean, there's like a healthy way. I just see it a healthy future of understanding how to be myself, but in a positive way. You know what I mean? And in my interactions, my relationships, I mean, I'm seeing how many of like the lessons I've learned along the way, I mean, and it's not, you don't have to change who you are. It's just learning how, like, boundaries and different things like that. I don't know if I'm answering the question right. I'm kind
Yes,
of
you
like
are. You absolutely are. It's coming back to the energy of freedom. Everyone type freedom in the comments. Freedom. Type freedom in the comments. Freedom, coming back to the energy of freedom, which I think is very powerful. And you are certainly worthy and deserving of feeling free in your mind, free in your body, free in your spirit. So thank you for sharing that with us. That's a courageous share. I appreciate it. Thank you. And we appreciate it as a
thank you.
goddess. Okay, so let's talk to goddess Marnie, and then whoever the third goddess was, who were the first group of goddesses, if you could remind me by doing a hand raise so we could talk to you next. So goddess Marnie, come on down. Greetings, goddess.
It was Goddess Deb was your third one.
Goddess Deb, thank you so much. Thank you. So I'll see if she's still here. So, Goddess Marnie, okay, so the same question for you. What is a belief or story you've been holding on to about yourself that no longer serves you? And what would your life look like? Well, the second part, what would your life look like if you released it?
Yeah. So one that I've only just kind of realized as I've been digging deeper and doing a lot of like tapping on my money blocks and stuff is that I have this belief that I have to put myself last and work really hard to make a good amount of money. And
Mhm.
so I think because I've proven that in the past, like the way, my business was making $1 million was when I was super unhealthy and like my needs didn't matter and I did nothing for myself. And so I feel like this belief has been well, for the last year, I haven't really been launching anything. And I realized like in the last week or two during a meditation, during one of your from your meditation album, actually, from your new one, it came up that I was like, oh, this is the block I'm putting in my way from really truly launching this new business, is because I have all this fear around it's going to take over my life again. And all these beautiful routines I have made for myself are going to be gone. Like I won't be doing yoga every day, and I won't have all this time to be with my kids and all these things. So, yeah.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah.
That is a huge revelation because, of course, if the feeling is that if I'm successful again, if I'm prospering again, if I have all of these clients and this thriving business again, the other part of my life, the main part of my life is going to suffer. Who's going to sign up for that?
Yeah.
Who's going
Yeah.
to sign up for that? That is huge. Good work. That is a huge, huge belief that we want to now root up and toss out. We don't need that.
Don't need that.
And so, what would well, do you remember which meditation specifically on the chakra album it was that you were doing? Because it might be helpful for other people to know as well.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm in the second week, like I'm doing each chakra a day, and now I'm on to the second week because I started it the day it released. But it was the first week, so I feel like it was, and no, I know it was in my sacral chakra for sure. Like, yeah, and then it became really
Oh,
clear as I worked through like my heart chakra as well, but it was the second day, so it was in my sacral chakra that like
that
is
makes
where
so
all my
much.
power lies too. Like I know that. So
Yes. Oh my goodness. What a gift though that you know this, right? Like what a gift. What a gift. So let's paint a picture. Let's paint a luscious picture. What would your life look like without this belief, this story? Actually, wait. No, 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 no. Wait, before we go to that, let's look back and maybe if we could go way back to little Marnie. When's the first time you remember having this belief or story? Let's think about that.
well, I feel like growing up, we were always told for sure. So I feel like I was like probably 5 or 6 when I had that belief that I had to work really hard to get money. Like it was just, that's how my parents, like you say, they did the best they could, but that's how they bent over backwards to make the life they made too. So I feel like probably even younger than that, but that's around 5 or 6 is when I really remember um that. And then I would say it really became clear after my business was making $1 million. But
Right.
I had, so like, when was that? That was just before COVID. So that was 29. Yeah, that was 2019 when my business hit that. So it was like really clear when COVID hit in 2020 that I was like, oh, the only way to make money is to like, right, to bend over backwards and put myself at the bottom kind of thing.
Right. Sacrifice and, to the detriment of everything else.
Yeah.
The detriment of everything else. Do you remember any specific stories early on? Any specific experiences?
Yeah. I mean, I remember that like one I remember, and I can't remember exactly how old I was, but I was a competitive like jump roper.
Mhm.
And me and one of my I guess she was kind of like a mentor or a coach, we put on a summer camp. And I remember, so I was probably only in grade 7 or grade 8, but I remember very distinctly because it was probably one of the first times I made a significant amount of money, like for a
Mhm.
grade 7
Good.
or grade
Yeah.
8. I think we made like a couple $1,000s each or something.
Yeah.
And I remember my parents, or especially my dad, being like, well, you just have to work harder if you want more people coming in. Like it was very clear, that message, that he's like, well, have you pounded the payment? Have you like put more hours in if you want to fill the camp more? And so it was just about more hours and more work essentially to make that money.
Oh, so very interesting. So your dad he was the key person that was reinforcing this story with you. And of course, we want to, not only make money and have money, that's great, but more important than anything, we want to believe our parents and make them proud. And so is there some of that that is wrapped up in it?
Oh yeah, big time. And I know like even when I stepped back a bit in the last few years, the comments my parents have made are like, well, of course you're not making the kind of money you want to be making. You're not working hard.
Mhm.
Like, so both of my parents have said that to me in the last couple of years when I've been prioritizing myself, especially the last year when I've stepped back and started this other business that really I haven't started because I put this block in my way. Um, they've both been like, well, you're not really working. So of course you're not making money. And so, yeah.
Which brings up, the obvious question that we ask with our head, but not with our spirit. Well, what if they are wrong?
Yeah.
What if they were wrong, right? We know that as children that you think that your parents, they know everything and they would never be wrong. Even when we're arguing with them and we're teens and we disagree, we still hold them up, on a pedestal if it's a healthy working relationship and think that they know what they're talking about. And so now let's look at them being wrong, completely and totally wrong about this. So what does that mean?
Yeah. Um, Even just like, and I've had that thought, like, but it's really hard because we live with them, like, well, we live in a suite that they built for us as part of their house, so they're very intertwined in our lives and with the boys. And so even when I manage to be like, no, I don't have to work 80 hours a week,
Mhm.
the message is still being pounded, like when they're
Yeah.
like, well, what'd you do today? And so I think even as we say it, I'm like, oh, it's like, if my parents are wrong, how do I even live day to day with them still having that message coming at me? Like, how am I strong enough to be above um, that message that I continually hear? Maybe not every day, but often enough that it's like continual, right? But I
Somebody,
also,
right, let's give a pause.
yeah,
Somebody, a sister here in the circle, type into the comments, but what if they were wrong? For yourself and for Goddess Marnie, so that she could see that. What if they're wrong? But what if they are wrong? The parents. But what if they're wrong? What if they were wrong? Our parents. What if they were wrong about us? What if they were wrong about anything? What if they were wrong about everything? But what if they were wrong? Go ahead, Goddess Marnie.
and I think if they were wrong, I immediately feel this sense of freedom that if they were wrong, I can choose my own life and path on how to bring in the abundance, whether I'm working hard or not.
Yeah. And a big part, that I've learned as a relatively new parent, my baby's only, she's about to be 3 soon, is isn't there a part of us that we know we're making it up as we go along?
Yeah, every day.
Parents, put your hand over your heart if you're a parent and you are making it up as you go along. Yes. And so even with us who are, people who are here, we are readers, we are studiers, we are people who are consciously trying to make the right choices. Isn't there the possibility that we are wrong about a lot of the things that we're talking about, and that this circle 20 years from now, 30 years from now, may have our children in it having a similar conversation about something? But
Totally.
yeah, so let's look back then at our parents who grew up in less enlightened or informed times, who probably didn't sit around contemplating loving themselves and this sort of thing, and ask ourselves again, what is the probability that they were wrong?
Probably 100%.
Probably 100%.
Yeah.
Probably. So how about if we just, for ish and giggles, just declare they were wrong?
Yeah. They were wrong.
Someone type that in the comments. They were wrong. They were wrong. And it means nothing detrimental about you. It means nothing about you. When we're born, they say that as newborn babies, we can't distinguish ourselves from our mothers, from our parents. We don't know that we are separate. But now, all of these years later, we are absolutely separate, even when we come from cultures or live in enmeshed kinds of situations. You know, I live with my parents with the house over, I'm looking at their house over there. Even with that situation, even with them building you a place to live and you living on their land, you are still allowed to have your sovereignty. You are still allowed to have your choices about who you are and about your life. And you are still allowed to look at their choices and their beliefs about you and say, wrong, wrong. And it doesn't mean that you're wrong. It doesn't mean that you're broken. It doesn't mean that they're bad people. It doesn't mean that they're bad people or that anything is wrong with them. It just means that in this instance, for the decisions and choices and stories and ideas that they have about you and your life, they are incorrect. They're not they're wrong. And so you get to fill in the blanks about what is right for you while still loving them, while still being in gratitude for all that they have done and will continue to do. It doesn't mean that you need to run away from them or whatever it is, that those are other conversations, but you are allowed to say respectfully in this instance, thank you, but no thank you. No thank you for that belief. Type into the comments someone, no thank you. No thank you. When anyone is imposing or has imposed any thought or belief upon us that no longer serves us and our lives, we are allowed to opt out. We are allowed to tick the little opt out button. Or like when we sign up for something and people are sending us text messages and we no longer want it, if you reply stop, that opts out. Stop. Type into the comments someone, stop. Stop. Not to you, but to them. Again, with love and with grace. And again, it doesn't mean that you have to, now suddenly challenge them about anything. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means that you as an adult have realized that these beliefs no longer serve you. And if you would like to, you can say to them, I don't want to have these conversations. I love you and I appreciate that you have a vision for me in my life. So do I. I've done it before and I can do it again and I'm working on it. And it may not look like it to you, but you'll see. And I'm excited for you to see. But what's going to serve me going forward is not to keep going back to these same conversations. That's not helping. And I know that you're doing it with love, and I appreciate it, and I love you. But stop. I'm opting out. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Mm. Yeah.
And I'm feeling you breathing easier.
Totally. Just this like weight lifts.
Opting out. We can opt out. Opting out. No, thank you. No, thank you. And so let's paint a new picture for your life, for any aspect of your life or business that you choose without this belief.
Yes. So without this belief, I see my business flourishing with me still spending, you know, maybe 20 hours a week max on it, but flourishing and hitting those $1 million, 7, 8 figure marks without having to work 80 hours a week. And I can just feel this freedom and being able to make this change in the world without by teaching that this is what I'm trying to teach, is that you can do this without burning yourself out and have the balance of being so deeply connected to you and your family and your community and having this successful, beautiful business.
Beautiful and glorious and exciting. That's
Very.
so exciting. So now you get to be the first case study for your clients who a year from now are going to look at what you do. How exciting. Now you get to go and put all of this into play.
Yeah.
What a wonderful opportunity that has presented itself for you. Because if you were going to go now and just try to teach this without having ever experienced any of this, it would ring shallow. People wouldn't relate to it. People wouldn't perhaps be helped by it. And so now you can come from the heart with these beautiful lessons that you are learning and really help other people to make shift happen in their lives. Yay! Good stuff, Goddess Marty. I'm excited for you.
I asked, can I ask a question that I didn't get a
Yes,
chance
please
to
do.
ask
Yeah.
last night? Actually, and it actually relates to this too, because last night you used the example of like when the goddess asked like if I'm trying to find employment, and I loved that, like how it's already done. So
Yes.
how do we take that energy in something like abundance or even like a successful business? How do you take that same feel like the job? I was like, oh, that makes sense. You dress for the job for that day, you write
Yes.
about it at the end of the day. But if you're like trying to draw in financial abundance, how do you act as if it's already done on that one?
Oh, I love that question. Okay, so let's work on that together because I think that that can benefit everyone. So I want to talk to Goddess Deb and then
Okay,
let's come back to this question.
beautiful.
Okay? Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, all right, good. Good stuff, Goddess Marnie. Okay, Goddess Deb, are you still here? Let's see. I don't know if she is still here. Okay, yay. There you are. Greetings, Goddess Deb. Okay, so the question on the table, Goddess, is what is a belief or story that you've been holding on to about yourself that no longer serves you? And if you have just joined us, please type the answer to that for yourself in the comments. I'm going to read it again. What is a belief or story that you have been holding on to about yourself that no longer serves you? Type that in the comments. Okay, so Goddess Deb, what are your thoughts?
Um, I'm in a pattern of addiction with sugar and carbohydrates in terms of my eating patterns. And I
Yes.
could manage it when I was significantly younger because I'm a former athlete. So I could basically get away with eating crummy and still maintain decent physique.
Mm-hmm.
And lately I've noticed I'm now in my, how old am I? I lose count, 67, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm plus 30 pounds over what I would consider an ideal. And I'm trying to uncover the root cause. It's not about the food, it's some emotional component.
Yes.
And it seems like some more information has come through that I really don't know what to do with in terms of moving forward or transforming the
Mm-hmm.
former belief that I am not powerful. I'm in victim energy, and I'm afraid to feel that I feel my feelings, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm to the point where, I mean, I'm literally creating. I nearly had a crash in my car again today, and last week I nearly had a head-on collision where I had to leave the road. So that's how, I mean, I'm missing the elephant in the room,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm I don't know. I'm kind of in a bit of a pickle.
Okay.
I don't really know I don't know what to do next. And I mean, right now there's ice cream in the refrigerator and or freezer, and my mind always goes to gotta have the hit, you know.
Let's talk about this, Goddess. Thank you so much for bringing this to the circle
Yeah,
because I feel like this is something that a lot of us as women deal
yeah,
with, right?
sure.
And a big part of it, and I have, in full transparency. And so I am grateful for this opportunity to share about
Yeah.
this with you. So I'm going
Okay,
to say
cool.
some things that you are aware of and things that you already know, but are important to reinforce. Any kind of addiction, food addictions in particular, are about exactly what you just said: numbing,
Hmm.
avoiding, not feeling our feelings, not
Right.
feeling what we feel. That someone gave us in childhood, if this is a challenge for you, someone told you that it was not okay or not safe to feel your feelings, or you didn't
Hmm.
have permission to feel your feelings. A lot of us grew up in households where maybe one person was allowed to feel angry, for example. One
Mm.
person had permission and other people did not have permission to feel the totality of our feelings. And so we developed ways to numb, to avoid,
Yeah.
to hide, to shrink, to make ourselves feel safe, which is another
Yeah.
layer, quite literally, when it
Yep.
comes to sugar and carbohydrates, putting on layers of weight that
Mhm.
then allow you to physically hide within your
Yeah.
own skin and your own body. And
Mhm.
food addictions in particular are very strongly about safety, about feeling
Okay.
safe in your body, feeling safe in the world, feeling safe with big changes, big changes,
Right.
feeling safe with big changes. And I remember years ago, before this is a whole different story, but before Dr. Oz
Mhm.
was clearly a douche nozzle for my non-American people, just imagine someone who a doctor you wouldn't want to go to, who's a TV doctor. I remember what really turned me off of him, because my mom was really into watching his show, is that he had a guest on who was an expert talking about sugar addiction, and he was laughing about it. Dr. Oz was laughing about it because he thought that it was silly and fun and light to talk about
Oh, wow.
sugar as an addiction, um, because it's sugar versus a drug. And
Yeah.
sugar itself is more addictive than cocaine and all of those hard drugs, and possibly
Yeah.
just as destructive to our
Yeah.
bodies. And
Yeah.
so, knowing, and our psyches, if we think about the fact that, as I said, that these kinds of food related addictions are about safety, about protection, about putting
Mhm.
on weight and being hiding in your skin, particularly when it comes to big shifts,
Yep.
big shifts, right?
Yep.
So when it comes to sugar in particular, we want to look at sweetness, right? So
Okay.
where in your life are you not allowing in sweetness, joy? If we think about sweetness, the aspects of pleasure and
Yeah.
passion and joy. And again, feeling fully. When we talk about feeling our emotions and not feeling our emotions, often people focus on the so-called negative emotions like anger and fear and, all of those kinds of things. Shame is a big thing. But it's the totality. It's not feeling also the highs of pleasure and
Yeah.
passion and joy and all of that. And so, is this ringing home to you? Did you have a big shift that reactivated or activated this for you? Um, I guess recently as it's been amping up, or has it been a consistent thing?
Um, so about a month ago ish, I did a a breath work session
Hmm.
that is just a way of getting into trance and yada yada.
Yes.
And what came forward in that moment, and the reason why I'm speaking of that is because immediately after that session, I went and bought ice cream. And
Hmm.
I had up to that point been 30 days free of ice cream.
Hmm.
I was on kind of eating a certain way. The weight was coming off. I was feeling better. I was trusting that my body can run its fuel source from not sugar, but something else. So fats, obviously. And then bloody hell, the thing happened. And I'm like, automatic pilot in the car, straight to the stop and rob and buy a pint, slammed it.
Yeah.
And the reveal in that breathwork session was at birth, the statement was, you are unwanted.
Mm.
And I understand how you can take in an impression or a belief, and I
Mhm.
understand that it can be transmuted, but the knowledge that I've gone 67 years behaving in such a way to accommodate that tape that's been playing in the background. But
Yes.
I'm curious as to why I've I feel like I backslid where in all the other energy work I've done, and whether I'm working however I'm working, tapping or meditation or hypnosis, this is the first time I actually have gone backwards. And I'm like nearly two crashes that could have ended this lifetime. Well, what the, I would use bad words, but I won't. I'm being respectful. So this is really new, a new beyond what I would consider a healing,
Mhm.
because I saw the transformation. I saw myself, they took you through an NLP timeline, and I saw myself a year in it. So I went down and talked to that little bundle of me, and, did the conversation, yada, yada. Then they take you to a year from this moment. And I saw one of my dreams is to be an author, I have and it all felt good.
Mhm.
I felt everything you said. I felt joyful. I felt like, for the first time ever, like, but and then immediately I'm pounding, I'm pushing it back down. I'm suppressing the joy that
Yeah.
I've been seeking. And
Yeah.
I don't know my next step. And it sounds too analytical, but
Yeah. So let's come into the body, right? Let's move from here. Let's come
yeah,
into the body, and let's just
gotcha.
come into a space of compassion.
Mm,
Compassion
understand.
for little you, compassion for
Yeah,
present you, for believing that, for having
yeah,
that be a part of your belief structure for all of this
yep,
time.
yeah. Big,
Right? Like big
yep,
compassion, and not expect, like, okay, you thought this for 67 years that this was a driving belief. And wow, how dare you not just eliminate it and forget, oh my goodness, what are you thinking that you would try to console yourself with a little bit of ice cream, a little bit of sweetness to
yep.
replace? Have compassion. Let's
Okay, I
have
gotcha.
some compassion, some love and compassion. If it was someone else who you loved, who came to you and said, I have
Yeah,
this belief, and I've believed this for a long time, and
yep.
I am wanting to free myself from this
Hmm.
belief, what would you say to them?
Well, forgive self, first of all, and move in a direction knowing that you're not that, and replace it with something like, I am powerful, I am free, I am joyful, I have something to offer the world. And there's an element of the fear of putting myself out there to, like what you're doing, helping people navigate through their stuff, to allow them to become freer, whether it's financial too.
Mhm.
I'm frozen in that. I've been planning a thing since before COVID, and you'd think I would. There've been many opportunities to move
Compassion,
forward.
compassion,
Okay,
compassion.
so it comes back. So I'm still in a level of self-judgment. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, I can, and I'll intend for more positive self-talk and more compassion. Look, even I had an exercise once with a good friend of mine who's been helping me through the years, and stand in front of the mirror, Deb, and say into the mirror, I love you. I couldn't bloody hell do that. I could not make eye contact with my own self.
Mm.
And that was decades ago. So it's been kind of being chipped away at, but this seems
Mhm.
to be the underlying belief that's created all the other, how it is.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
create stuff.
Yeah. Well, again, we're coming from compassion. And so
Okay.
part of with your background as an athlete, you're thinking about it in terms of discipline, right? Like kind of like, almost like in a militaristic way, like, okay, I
Yeah.
should be
Oh,
check
sure.
this and do this
Absolutely.
and
Yep.
knock it out. And, you know, again, a completely different energy,
Yeah.
if we're not going to humiliate the self-love
Mhm.
out of you. We're not going to
Yes.
shame you into loving yourself,
Yeah. I
right?
understand. Yeah. Yeah.
What happened is that you felt joy and
Yeah.
happy, and it felt unsafe.
I
It felt
freaked
unsafe
out.
with it. You freaked
Yeah.
out. You freaked out. And that's
Okay.
okay. I have a 2-year-old. She freaks out all the time. So guess what? We all have a 2-year-old inside of us.
I understand. Sure.
2-year-old.
Yeah.
And we
Especially,
said,
especially if the
"Oh
imprinting happened at that age. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes." And
Okay.
the little 2-year-old, she said, "Oh my goodness, what happiness? No, we can't. This is too much."
Yeah. 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 I understand. Okay.
And so
So a
you
safety
could do,
issue and self-compassion
so
is what I'm
let's do
hearing
it
you
this
say.
way. Let's do it this way. I like to lean into, I call it blissipline versus,
Ah,
discipline, blissipline. And so one of the
discipline.
things
Okay.
that you could do, so I want you to, let's come up with a self-love practice that you could do for a 30-day, a 40-day. Let's make it a 40-day practice, 40 days of self-love and self-care
Okay.
and self-appreciation. So what is some,
Okay.
so let's have you pick an activity. I have some things in mind. Let's have you pick what's one thing that you could do for 40 days, one thing that is doable for 40 days that would reflect this energy that we're leaning into.
Well, I would like to, begin to walk again, to move my body.
Yeah.
And I have dogs, so it's a real easy to hook up the dog and go for a walk, which I used to do. I miss moving my body. It does seem to, and I can tell you the analytical part, it elicits, those hormones that make you feel great.
Yeah.
But I've not been doing that. I work an 18-hour day, so that's my excuse. That's my creation to keep from addressing me. So I think if I got myself up and walking, and it's better for me to do it straight away in the morning, first thing.
Okay, so let's add that. Okay, good. So you're going
Okay.
to wake up every day and you're going to walk. How long are you going to walk for?
Around the block, 30 minutes, probably
Okay.
30 minutes. Yeah, that
So
I can
15
manage
minutes
that.
one way, 15 minutes one way, and then come on back.
Yeah, yeah, full, like a full block circle. Yeah, that I've got a little place in the neighborhood that's safe to do that at dusk or dawn, low
Okay.
light hours. Yep.
Okay. All right, good. So this is very
Mhm.
exciting. Okay, so 40 days of morning walking. Okay,
Okay.
excellent. And how is, you mentioned the mirror practice that your friend had given you before. How are you with that
Right.
presently?
Oh, I'm a lot better now. I do, I'm back to finally doing intentions in the morning after the shower.
Mhm,
I'm intentions for the day to be peacefully centered. I've got a list.
mhm,
Sometimes I add stuff.
mhm.
And that does get me set. And the days I don't do it, then I'm off. So get
Okay,
back to that pattern. But yeah,
okay.
I'm more comfortable looking in the mirror and saying stuff like that. No worries.
So let's add it in. So it's something that already works for you. And let's
Yep.
add a caveat. So you're gonna do, so after the shower, you're gonna look in the mirror nude, completely nude.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I understand. Yep.
And you're gonna speak
Yep.
loving words to yourself,
Okay.
words of
Got it.
love and words of compassion.
Okay. I can
Okay.
do that.
Okay, wonderful. And then you mentioned breath work and tapping. Which of
Oh,
these is something that you could incorporate as a daily practice, maybe before bed?
yeah. Since I'm studying breath work and I'd like to offer that for people, I need to be a participant in it myself. It's just silly not to be.
Yes.
So my plan has been morning, noon, night, 5 minutes of nasal in, nasal out, which is what I understand to be in my education on that is lowers cortisol, which is the stress hormone,
Mm-hmm.
lowers cortisol by 25%. It just kind of gets you ever so slightly chilled.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got it set on my phone, and every time the phone goes off, I go, nope, don't have time. And that amazing. I'm not, and I'm keenly aware, but I need to get myself, I need to take care of me. I mean, are you kidding me? Bloody hell. There's not 5 minutes, 15 minutes in my day, Deb, that you can't do some
Compassion,
breathing.
compassion, compassion.
Oh
Someone
yeah,
type
there's more
into the
judgment
comments,
there.
compassion.
Hold on. Oh, oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a former, not only a former athlete, former school teacher and former coach. There's all that autocratic boom, boom, boom in the programming that has gotten gentler. If you'd have met me 20 years ago, you'd go, oh my God, this woman is just going to go off the deep end when she's in her 60s. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so is this breath work practice, is it something that you could do before bed?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
let's
Well,
to
three
add
things.
breath
So
work.
that's easy. So that's three things. And then here, let's add a fourth thing to support you
Okay.
with your eating. So I
Okay.
want you to just keep just a gentle food diary. Again, it's
Ah,
coming from Blissiplan. Gentle food diary. And so you're going to write down everything that you eat for the next 40 days. Just ease. And here's the key. Next to whatever you eat, you're going to write down what emotion you're feeling at the time.
okay.
Okay. So just the
Yep.
emotion, what you felt. Am I feeling, was I tired at that moment? Was I angry?
Mhm.
Was I frustrated? Was I upset? Was I happy? Was I joyful? With no judgment at this point, not trying to do anything or,
Yeah.
backing into any sugar sobriety or whatever it is. Just right now, just an observation, just for the next 40 days, pouring love into yourself. Okay. So we have a number of
Okay.
different practices. So we have
Okay. Sure.
so what do we have? So let's go through, we have four things. Let's go through the
Right.
four.
So we've got a morning 30-minute walk. We've got looking in the mirror, fully naked, admiring myself and talking sweetly to myself. And then before bed, breath work, the 5 minutes nasal in out. And then during the day, during mealtime, recording what I eat, plus the emotion attached to that, and simply reporting and recording, no judgment, just
Just
making a list. Yeah,
yes.
no worries. Okay, for 40 days. That's an
For
interesting number. Okay.
Is
Yeah.
this
I'm in
doable?
numerology, so I'm like 40. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay, good. So is this doable for you?
Yes, absolutely. And I appreciate you nudging me a tad more because I had made a list. I had made a list today. I'm a list maker when I drive.
Yes.
The three walking, adding, drinking more water, hydrate well, and then addressing the style in which I eat. So something along the lines of diet. So how interesting is that?
Okay. Now, one last question. Okay, so I'm a list maker too. Do the lists have to happen while you're driving?
You know, I
Is
I
that when
want to
things are
say
coming up for you? Is that when things come up for you?
it's when I'm in a receiving mode. A lot
Hmm.
of stuff will come through
Hmm.
when I'm driving. I don't know if I don't know why. I mean, sometimes I can even channel crazy stuff and I'm just like, holy shit, that's important. I gotta write that down, kind of deal. Um, I'm in the car a lot.
Hmm.
I'm in the car a lot. I'm about 150 miles a day. I'm in the car.
Wow. Okay. So since you mentioned driving quite a bit earlier on in this
Mhm.
call, if you can, just leave the list making until right afterward, or figure out a
Oh,
way so that there's something that you could, if there's something in your car that you could press and speak into and record, then do that. But leave the list making until afterward.
gotcha.
So
Okay.
maybe as soon as you park, you can just write down whatever came up.
Okay. Got
Okay.
it.
Okay. And this is, so let's give a name to this project. This is the Compassion for Deb project.
I like that.
Okay. All right, good. The
Okay,
compassion
I'm writing that
for
down.
Deb.
Compassion for Deb project. I like it.
Anyone else needs a similar project, feel free to adapt it, or any parts of it, or any parts of
Okay,
Okay, all right,
cool.
good. And so check back in. So next week, I'm speaking at a Hay House event. So it's not going to be next week, but then after that, we probably will continue at this time. And I'm excited about you as an author and as a speaker and as a thought leader, and I can completely see it. And there are people who are waiting for your wisdom and guidance, and I'm excited for you about that, and
Yeah, I
excited for
appreciate
all
that.
of us.
Yeah,
Excited for
yeah.
all of us who will get to benefit from your wisdom. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you much.
Okay. All right. So let's bring Goddess Marnie back. She had something that could benefit the whole circle. And let's pull another card and find out what the ancestors are wanting us to know right now. This is the deck that we are pulling from. So this is my Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle. And as I showed at the beginning of the circle, my latest book is From Imagination to Reality, Secret Manifestation Lessons and the Law of Assumption from Abdullah, Master Alchemist. So Goddess Marnie, come on down.
Okay.
And if you could, in fact, pull a card for us, or actually, no, Goddess Marnie, hold on, we'll come back to you. Let's have Goddess Fatima, since she's front and center on my screen. Goddess Fatima, if you could pull the card, and then we will go back to Goddess Marnie. Hello, Goddess Fatima.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm going to shuffle, and if you could, you're going to say now. And what we are pulling for is we're just finding out what it is that our guides, our ancestors, the divine wants us to know now. Okay? All right, so please let us know. Start shuffling.
Now.
Okay. Ah, very interesting. Okay, good. All right. So this requires no clarification whatsoever. We have pulled forward the energy of good juju, which means that right now, not only is there great energy that is in our room, but there's greatness in store for all of us. Wonderful things are happening. Type that in the comments. Wonderful things are happening. Good juju. Wonderful things are happening. Wonderful things are happening. And in this deck, the altar cards are the most potent activated energy. And in fact, let me just read from the guidebook, because I think that it will be helpful, particularly for people who know tarot and those who don't, this card. So I'm going to hold it up again. You can either screenshot it or look at it if you're needing to. It's the altar of fire. Good juju. Here's our message. Be inspired. There's something in the air, and it is your success. And I just want to just note, this is very interesting that we pulled so much positive energy today. This really speaks to all of us in this circle and in this moment, because this is not one of those happy, happy, joy, joy decks. Like my decks are tell it like it is decks. And so this is really interesting that this is the energy that we have going on. Okay, so great things are happening. Open yourself to opportunities and unexpected choices. I think that's a big one. Unexpected choices. Claim your moment. Claim your moment. Embrace the rebirth in love, health, money, and happiness. This is not the time to tiptoe. Be big. Be bold. You are manifesting wonderful outcomes, but you must take creative action to let it all in. It's the same message of earlier, the inspired action. So this is a, that moment, that divine masculine energy moment of, letting it taking action. Okay. Be ready to expand and evolve. Type into the comments, ready. I am ready. Declare it. I am ready. Be ready, okay, to expand and evolve. And then these beautiful words, this is what you have been waiting for. Ooh, this is what you have been waiting for. Okay, and then, the ancestral medicine here is setting up an altar in honor of fire goddess energy. Very interesting. Okay. And the tarot correspondent is the Ace of Wands. And the declaration, I've left some things out because it's a lot to read, but I'm going to just hold it up here. The declaration is, it is easy for me to be successful. It's easy for me to succeed. That's a beautiful new belief. Type that in the comments. It's easy for me to succeed. It's easy for me to succeed. People like me succeed. This is easy. It's easy for me to succeed. What a beautiful new belief. Thank you, Goddess Fatima, for guiding us there. So Goddess Marnie, come on back. It's easy for me to succeed. Let's declare that. So Goddess Marnie, please remind me, what was the question on the table?
So it came up after last night when you gave the example from your imagination to reality book, where that law of assumption, you're assuming it's already done. And so the one question was, if you're looking for a new job or career, that you could walk in that it's already done, and you gave the practice of getting up and dressing, and then journaling about like what you did in your day, and those were good examples, and so that totally made sense to me. And then afterwards I was like, oh, how do you act as if it's already done when you're trying to draw in financial, like when you want to have financial abundance without like going and spending money on things you don't have.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about 5 ways that we could do that. This is a really great question because we are all here welcoming in more abundance, right? Just type into the words into the comments the word $ or $ if you are calling forward greater abundance. Okay, yay. All right. So the energy of, or if you're in the UK, a £, or a euro if you're in Europe, or whatever it is. So the energy of it is already done when it comes to abundance. So 5 things. Okay, so one that is very, very potent is the energy of gratitude. So if it was already done, if you've already achieved your financial independence, for in the case of what we were talking about with you, you're making $1 million a year again, right? You wouldn't be you would be in a state of gratitude, and that would be natural for you. So natural gratitude, which means that you wouldn't be in complaining conversations. This is a big one because I feel very strongly, like in the past couple of weeks, like in this past moon and eclipse, like I've been in a lot of conversations about lack and scarcity, and particularly like with the US election and, all of the things that are going wrong. It's all, scarcity, fear, lack, all of that, so opt out of those conversations. Opt out of those conversations about, uh, what is not working, and how just the poverty consciousness conversations, the scarcity fear conversations. They're not serving us. They're not serving us. So opting out, okay? And this is for, again, for everyone here. Opting out of those conversations, minimizing conversations about what is, who gets to benefit, who gets to prosper, why you don't, all of that, right? You wouldn't do that if you were in a state of gratitude, if you were in a state of assuming that it's already done. What we're talking about is the law of assumption, as Goddess Marnie said. If you missed the conversation, if you weren't there in the circle last night, we were talking about the law of assumption, which is assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So the key word there is feeling. So assuming the feeling. So what is the feeling of abundance? So asking you, what's the feeling that you had of prosperity, the feeling of abundance? What was that feeling for you?
Freedom.
Okay, all right. And so practicing what it feels like to feel free, which is the opposite energy of feeling bound. So just practicing the energy of freedom, even if it's for 3 minutes, even if 3 minutes is all that you could manage, setting an alarm and being like, okay, I'm going to sit for 3 minutes and I'm going to just be in a state of feeling freedom. What does freedom feel like in my bones? Okay, thank you for feeling free in the world. Thank you for not worrying about, bills or anything like that. Thank you for feeling good about my bank account. Thank you for all of the people that that are being served by my work. Thank you for all of the people who are choosing to invest in themselves through me. Freedom, practicing the energy of the feeling of the wish fulfilled, practicing that energy. Another very, very powerful practice is, and I've been there's a spirit of money course that has been coming through me, that is birthing through me, that I was thinking is going to happen in December, but it may happen sooner because it's coming fast. But one of the things that we can do energetically when it comes to, like you said, without going out and now spending every dime that we have, which isn't necessarily what you would do anyway, when you're doing well and your bank account is flush. It's not like, okay, you're not feeling the need to act like a lottery winner, or because it just is, because this is your everyday. So it's not a feeling of I've got to spend it because I'm going to lose it, or I've got to. There's not that. That's a desperate energy. That's energy of, this is new to me, this is shocking for me, this is big for me, rather than this is just, it is what it is, this is how it is for me. it's natural for me to be rich, to have money. Different vibration, totally different vibration. And so one of the things that we can do is spend it energetically. It doesn't have to be spending it, in the 3D world. And so if you do the exercise where you start with $100, so this week starting with $100 and spending it in your journal. What am I spending this $100 on? And then either daily, you could do this either daily or weekly, depending on, your time resources. Double it, double it each day, and then spend it. Oh, okay, $200. What am I going to spend it on? Okay, 400. Okay, 800. What am I going to spend it on? And so you're getting the energy of spending this resource, this money, this energy, this prosperity, this wealth without physically spending it. And it's, again, practicing the vibration of, and your body getting the excitement and the fun of, oh, okay, there's this extra $100. Okay, there's an extra $200. So maybe I'll go and, I don't know, just do something frivolous, or maybe this week I'll use that to fix my brakes or whatever it is. It's having it be an energetic practice. Having it be an energetic practice. Was that 4 or 5? Do we have 4? What was it? Let's go through.
I will say, just for anyone who doesn't have that, when you gave us the resource at one point, the money app, the secret money
Yes.
app,
Yes. Let me
I
show
actually ran
you.
out of things to like spend it on because it got so high, and I was like, oh my God, I'm actually out of, like, I can't even come up with ideas on how to spend this. But that's
Yeah.
a really great one to like.
Yes. So
To,
this is the app. It's the secret money app. And it's interesting. I'm thinking maybe that's why I kind of lost interest in it too. Like I kind of, yeah. But I think that it's a wonderful resource to play with money, do exactly what we are talking about. And so all of these things are walking in the energy of. Last but not least, one of the things that you could do is, if you have a friend that is along in the same groove, on the same path, who either in real life or here in the circle, connect with someone in Inner Bloom, or if you're in my circles and courses, connect with someone. And we're all happy weirdos here, so no one's gonna think you're weird if you say, hey, do you want to be my abundance partner and we can do this together? You can either get on a call, a Zoom or a physical call, and say, for the next 30 minutes, let's just practice the energy of abundance by speaking as if. And so, hey, Goddess Marnie, I haven't spoken to you in a while. How's your business? I heard that you hit $1 million again. What was that, 6 months ago? How's it going? How's it going? And have the conversation and just enjoy the fun of that, the raising of the vibration and the financial, the abundant energy of that. Okay. So those are 5 practices that we could do, that even just talking about them now feels elevating and feels good, in order to retune our vibration. Okay.
thank you. Those are awesome.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So we are closing. Does anyone have a burning desire, question, something to express before we go? And by the way, the Hay House event that I'm going to be speaking at next week is streaming free online as well. And you can find it. Let me just give you what the name of it is. It's on my Instagram profile. I'm on Instagram at Abiola TV. TV stands for Transformation and Victory. And let me see what the name of the event is. The Hay House event is named Mystical Connections. It says free 1-day live virtual experience hosted by Colette Baron Reed with Rebecca Campbell, Sonia Choquette, John Holland, Abiola Abrams, that's me, Sarah Landon, Sean Leonard, Dougal Frazier, Kyle Gray, Geraldine Glass, and Radley Valentine on October 5th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, October 5th, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's on my Instagram profile, as I said. And I also have a sale going, an equinox sale that lasts, if you're at the time of, if you're watching this on replay, it's probably gone already, but you can check it out at tinyurl.com/Abiola sale. tinyurl.com/Abiola sale. Okay. All right. Okay, good. We just check and see where in South Carolina is it? I don't know, Goddess Helen. I don't know. I actually just figured out that it was in South Carolina. Let me just see if it mentions where. It does not say what part. Oh, no, no, no. Doesn't say what part. But it would be exciting to see any of you who are able to be in the area. And then also for folks in the area in January 10th through 12th, I will be in North Carolina for an empowerment retreat, the Goddess of Manifesting retreat, and you're all invited. And the link for that is richgoddessretreat.com. 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 Okay, so let's pull forward our candles again, if you do indeed have them. And we are, as a circle, we have come together today. We have loved, we have laughed, and we have spent time in each other's energy as we have done as sacred sisters for millennia before this. We are looking forward to this unapologetic energy as we are stepping forward with the energy of conscious creation and good juju. And we are welcoming in all of the blessings, all of the prosperity, all of the abundance, all of the love, all of the health, and all of the wealth. For now, our circle is temporarily closed, but remains connected. Put your candle out. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Deep bow to you, my sacred sisters. So I will either see you on the live stream for the Hay House event next week, or I will see you in the following week. For people who are in specifically my Inner Bloom circle, you can find this replay in the learning portal. For people who are in Inner Bloom Greater, it will be posted there. Okay. Bye, beauties. See you soon, goddesses.